In November 2022, police in Delhi, India, made a discovery that would shock the entire nation. A 28-year-old woman named Shraddha Walkar had been murdered by her live-in boyfriend. He had strangled her during an argument, but what he did next would become one of the most horrific crimes in modern Indian history. He cut her body into 35 pieces. He stored the pieces in a refrigerator, and over the course of several months, he disposed of them one by one, scattering them across the forests of Delhi under cover of darkness, all while continuing to live in the apartment they had shared, all while pretending she was still alive. The case sparked outrage across India. It raised questions about live-in relationships, domestic violence, and how a man could hide such a monstrous act for so long. This is the story of Shraddha Walkar and the man who killed her, Aftab Poonawala. Shraddha Shukla was born in 1994 in Mumbai, India. She came from a traditional middle-class Hindu family. Her father worked in the Indian Navy. She was described by friends as kind, ambitious, and full of life. She loved to travel and had dreams of working in the corporate world. In 2019, while working at a call center in Mumbai, Shraddha met Aftab Poonawala. Aftab was the same age as Shraddha. He came from a Muslim family. He worked in the food delivery industry and had aspirations in cooking and hospitality. They began dating. Like many young couples, they bonded over shared interests and the excitement of a new relationship. But their relationship faced immediate opposition. Shraddha's family did not approve. In India, interfaith relationships, particularly between Hindus and Muslims, can be controversial. Shraddha's father strongly objected to the relationship and wanted her to end it. But Shraddha was in love. She was independent, working, and determined to make her own choices. Against her family's wishes, she continued seeing Aftab. In 2020, Shraddha and Aftab moved in together in Mumbai. This decision further strained her relationship with her family. In traditional Indian society, unmarried couples living together is still frowned upon by many. Shraddha's father cut off contact with her. Friends would later say that the relationship was troubled from the beginning. There were arguments. Aftab was reportedly possessive and controlling. Shraddha confided in friends that Aftab had physically abused her on multiple occasions. In one incident in 2020, Shraddha filed a police complaint against Aftab, accusing him of physical abuse. She later withdrew the complaint, as many domestic violence victims do, hoping things would improve. They did not. Despite the warning signs, Shraddha stayed with Aftab. In early 2022, the couple decided to move to Delhi, India's capital city, for better job opportunities. They rented a one-bedroom apartment in the Mehrauli neighborhood of South Delhi. It would be the last place Shraddha would ever live. On May 18, 2022, Shraddha Walkar and Aftab Poonawala had an argument in their apartment. According to Aftab's later confession, the argument was about marriage. Shraddha wanted to get married. Aftab was not ready. The disagreement escalated into a heated fight. In the heat of the argument, Aftab strangled Shraddha. She died in their apartment. For most people, the horror of what Aftab had done would have led to panic, to calling the police, to some form of accountability. But Aftab did not panic. Instead, he made a decision that would shock the world. He decided to hide the crime. Aftab went online and researched how to dispose of a body. He watched crime shows. He read about forensic investigations. He studied how to avoid getting caught. Then, he went to a hardware store and bought a saw. Over the next several days, Aftab dismembered Shraddha's body in the bathroom of their apartment. He cut her into 35 pieces. He carefully separated the body parts, placing them in plastic bags. He bought a refrigerator and stored the body parts inside. And then, over the course of the next several months, Aftab disposed of the remains. Almost every night, around 2 a.m., when the streets were empty, he would take 1 or 2 plastic bags and walk to the nearby Mehrauli forest. He scattered the body parts across different locations, ensuring they would be difficult to find. He did this for months, calmly, methodically. All the while, he continued to live in the apartment where he had killed Shraddha. He slept in the same bed. He used the same bathroom where he had dismembered her body. He went to work. He interacted with neighbors. He acted as if nothing had happened. To avoid suspicion, Aftab took several calculated steps to make it appear that Shraddha was still alive. He kept her phone active. He used her social media accounts, posting updates and responding to messages as if he were her. He told friends and acquaintances that Shraddha had gone to Mumbai to visit family or had traveled for work. When Shraddha's friends tried to reach her, Aftab made excuses. He said she was busy. He said her phone was broken. He deflected and delayed, buying himself time. Shraddha's father, Vikas Walkar, had not been in contact with his daughter for months due to their strained relationship. But in September 2022, he began to worry. Shraddha was not responding to messages. Something felt wrong. He reached out to her friends. They too had not heard from her in months. The last confirmed sighting of Shraddha was in mid-May 2022. On October 12, 2022, Vikas Walkar filed a missing person report with the police in Mumbai. He suspected that Aftab had something to do with her disappearance. Mumbai police transferred the case to Delhi police, since that was where Shraddha was last known to be living. Delhi police began their investigation. They tracked down Aftab and brought him in for questioning. At first, Aftab maintained his story. He said Shraddha had left him. He said she had gone back to Mumbai. He acted confused and cooperative. But investigators were not convinced. They pressed him. They questioned inconsistencies in his story. They asked about Shraddha's belongings, her phone, her social media activity. Finally, on November 12, 2022, nearly 6 months after the murder, Aftab confessed. He told police everything. The details were so horrific that even seasoned investigators were stunned. Following Aftab's confession, Delhi police launched a massive search operation in the Mehrauli forest area. The forest is dense, covering a large area. Finding 35 pieces of a human body scattered over several months and likely already decomposed or scavenged by animals was an enormous challenge. Search teams combed through the forest for weeks. They used sniffer dogs. They brought in forensic experts. They searched in the locations Aftab claimed to have disposed of the remains. They found several bone fragments and other remains. However, due to the state of decomposition and the time that had passed, it was difficult to confirm which remains belonged to Shraddha. DNA testing was conducted on the recovered remains. As of the most recent reports, authorities have confirmed that some of the remains are a DNA match to Shraddha Walkar. Forensic teams also examined the apartment where Shraddha was killed. They found traces of blood, despite Aftab's attempts to clean the scene. Investigators also examined Aftab's internet search history. They found searches for phrases like how to dispose of a body, how to clean bloodstains, and information about human anatomy. This digital evidence further corroborated his confession. Police also discovered that Aftab had been in contact with other women during the time he was disposing of Shraddha's remains. He had gone on dates. He had even brought women back to the apartment where Shraddha's body parts were stored in the refrigerator. He was charged under Section 302 of the Indian Penal Code for murder and Section 201 for causing the disappearance of evidence. He was taken into police custody for interrogation. In May 2023, formal charges were framed against Aftab in a Delhi court. He pleaded not guilty and demanded a trial. The trial is ongoing as of late 2024 and early 2025. If convicted, Aftab could face the death penalty. Under Indian law, murder cases involving extreme brutality and premeditation can qualify for capital punishment. The case highlighted the religious aspect. Shraddha was Hindu, Aftab was Muslim. Some right-wing groups in India use the case to push narratives about so-called love jihad, a conspiracy theory claiming Muslim men intentionally seduce Hindu women. This added a communal and political dimension to the case that many found distasteful and distracting from the real issues of violence against women. Aftab's defense has argued that his confessions were made under duress and should not be admissible. His lawyers have also attempted to delay proceedings multiple times, but the court has rejected these attempts and ordered the trial to continue. A verdict has not yet been delivered. Despite Aftab's confession and the evidence against him, several questions remain. Why did Shraddha stay with Aftab despite the abuse? This is a question many domestic violence survivors face. Fear, financial dependence, emotional manipulation, and hope that the abuser will change are all factors that keep victims in dangerous relationships. Could this tragedy have been prevented? Her case has become a symbol in India, a reminder of the silent epidemic of domestic violence, a call for change. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please reach out for help. You are not alone. This is Dark Atlas, covering true crime stories from around the world. If you found this video informative, please like, subscribe, and share. Leave your thoughts in the comments below.